This is gonna be a lot of fun and very, very cringy. So, yeah. What's up, homegrown filmmakers? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Annie Pulling Sweat, and I've been teaching myself filmmaking for several years now, and I've been sharing what I've been learning so that we can all be learning together. Today, I am going to be reacting to some of my oldest films, the films that I made with my siblings back when I was 13, 14 years old. This is going to be interesting. It's always interesting to kind of go back and look at your beginnings because it can be very encouraging because you can see how much you've grown and how much you've learned, and it's just fun to kind of relive the story behind the films that we made, like why we made it, how we got inspired, all that jazz. So I'm excited to take this trip down memory lane with you guys. But the first thing that we're going to be watching here is the very first film that Lizzie, Josiah, and I ever made together. It's called Cinderella, the Fairy Godmother Part. So what happened to inspire us for this video was we had seen a video that some friends of ours had made where they did a jump cut magic effect where someone would snap and somebody else would just appear, or things on the ground would appear and disappear. And it was just a simple jump cut effect, but we thought that that was so cool, we had to try it. And at the time, Lizzie and I were majorly into dress up. This is like legit dress up. We had so many different costumes, we had characters that we role played, we did tea parties together, we wrote letters to each other with quill pens and ink. We were really serious about this. So that's kind of where Cinderella came from. We're like, how do we use all of this assorted dress up that we have in a film, because that's what we were doing at the time. But enough talking, we're gonna watch the video. We loved getting into titles, like spent so much time on titles and music for titles. So here's Cinderella. She can't go to the ball. So good. It's so good. Yes, that's me. Oh man. Okay, so I have to explain what the heck was going on with the sound. So the day that we decided to film this, our neighbor was simultaneously chopping down trees, shredding the trees in like an industrial shredder, and then I think one of his grown-up sons was over for the day, and he had his golf cart going, and so it would occasionally just whiz by right where we were filming. So that's why the sound is just like, it's perfect. The camera that we filmed this on was like our old tape camcorder that recorded to those tiny little tapes. And so those things are really, really noisy. That's a lot of the sound that you're hearing as well. Oh, second jump cut. That was a better jump cut, like it was a little bit smoother. I remember that Josiah kept getting upset with us because he would be moving the camera right when we needed to jump cut, and he was like, no, the camera has to be still for this effect to work. Because we didn't have a script or anything, so he didn't know when I was going to snap. He's like, we have to make a plan, we have to figure out when you're going to snap so I can get the camera right. And me and Lizzie were just like, but we're just having fun, and we're just putting on a play, basically. Oh, we thought that was so funny, getting rid of the bench. Oh, that dress! That dress is a hand-me-down that we got from my grandparents. It's like a vintage 50s square dancing dress, handmade. It's so light and airy. I just remember, okay, that dress. Too plain. Heals the black eye that you couldn't see because the lighting is terrible. So, like, we had been in several plays, and we actually wrote and performed a play right before this, so you can see kind of like how we're walking around, and we're kind of like performing to the camera, because we were very used to more like stage. It just keeps going, guys. It just keeps going. We had no sense of when to stop. We thought we were so funny. Oh, man. Getting Lizzie changed for these jump cuts was very interesting, because like she would freeze, and then Josiah would come over carrying the next outfit, and me and Josiah, I would try and stay exactly where I was, but I'd try and help Josiah and get Lizzie out of the costume that she was in and into the next costume, and it was interesting. Oh yeah, we didn't have a carriage, so we were like, you can just walk through a magic portal to the ball. Through the bushes, into the magic portal. Not sure what this random panning and zooming shot is. We had a tripod, so Josiah was on tripod. Ooh, more titles. Midnight. Oh, that's right. So we edited this in, I think it was the old iMovie, and it had, you know, it comes with a set of stock sound effects, and one of them is a clock. I bet that was half of what inspired us to do Cinderella. We were like, we have a clock sound effect, we have all this dress up, and we want to do a magic jump cut effect. Oh, we're just gonna, it makes us sit here and watch the title for 12 whole strikes. Why doesn't she have shoes on? Oh, okay, I see. For a second. We actually thought that through. Oh, now you can see the black eye. We got so bored with standing in one place and competing with all the noise of the chipper and the chainsaw that we moved to the garden and did all these running shots. We had so much more fun with all these running shots. I missed you in the drawer. I think that wasn't planned. I think Lizzie just did that. Oh, perfect credit music. Gotta get the credits in there. Well, there you go. That was Cinderella. So that was the first movie that we ever made. That's what got us hooked. We couldn't stop making movies after that. Let me see. I think the next one is Becoming Queen. So Becoming Queen is the first time that we ever did a scripted movie. We were really starting to get more into filmmaking, and we were over at a friend's house and we were like, we should make a movie together. And Lizzie pulled out an old script that she had already written as a stage play. So we're like, okay, we'll just turn this into a movie instead of a stage play. And we spent the rest of the time we were over at that friend's house kind of figuring out how we would change things and how this would go. So I actually like planned this way more than anything we'd ever made before. So like you'll see that we filmed the coronation in our camping pavilion, and that thing is huge. It takes multiple people to set up. So I actually had to arrange with my parents and my whole family for us to get it set up where I wanted it. And like we had all the costumes and we memorized the lines. We had this thing planned out. Again with the titles. Becoming Queen. We were really into titles. I can't take it almost because we have to do a whole intro sequence. I love Philip playing the bishop. He had a lot of fun with that. He's also like wearing literally blankets, white blankets with a blue cloak on top. He folded that hat out of like stiff paper and then we painted it. He is into origami. I remember trying to edit this sequence where she's walking down the carpet. It was really difficult. We didn't have enough footage and we had to keep cutting away to her aunt, Lady Jane. And we were just like, this is not working. We were really frustrated editing this.
To you, Eleonora, Augusta, Helena, Misra,
Lizzie was very adamant that she have many names because royalty, they have many names. There's the crown we made, covered in tin foil with plastic gems hot glued on. I remember having to work really hard to get the music to land just right, where it kind of... All the people clapping who aren't there. I was actually quite happy with how the throne turned out, and we don't get a real close-up shot of it, but it was one of our dining room chairs with like blue velvet draped over the cushion, and then Lizzie and I created that backboard, which we spray painted silver and glued more jewels on to match her crown. This was a bedroom, this was my bedroom, and we spent a long time getting it ready for this because we had to duct tape those curtains to the ceiling, and I had like huge closet doors that were mirrors, and we had to cover those with some tapestry like things that we had. Lizzie was totally into set deck, as you can see.
I don't know, I just came in this morning.
You can see the boom pool in the mirror.
She's been stabbing me in the heart. We must get her changed immediately. And then he was choking me when I fainted. I suppose he thought I was dead. You must have been terrified.
There was this whole joke how that's how everyone responds when they hear the story. You must have been terrified. And we thought, we did not understand how comedy does not belong in drama, and so we kept doing all these things that we were like, oh, this will be so funny, and yeah, but it's not a funny movie, so it really falls flat.
You must have been terrified. I have to go, but I'll be back soon.
I like how this wide shot that we have, like, is not well framed at all. It doesn't show the characters. We had a really hard time finding good shots because the room was so narrow. This shot, we filmed it many times, and it was my favorite shot of the entire movie. I got to hold a real candle. We really worked on the lighting to get it right so you'd be able to see things. That was the thing that I was most excited to film for this whole movie. This scene between Alina and I, we must have been filming for like 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours, because we could not keep a straight face at all. We kept busting it up to the point where it got really frustrating for everyone else because we just could not get through the scene. I like how there's this whole mystery element and then it's just solved. There's like no tension, no mystery. She had to talk really loud, like her voice went up in volume so the boys could hear her outside the door. The first time we did it, they were like, we didn't hear you, so we didn't come in.
What does Your Majesty wishes to do with this treaty? She's to be taken to the dungeon where she will await her voice.
Oops, there's a microphone peeking out under the curtain. They're just dragging her. And into the credits, because we've always got to have those extensive credits. So that's Becoming Queen. That's the first time we were taking filmmaking seriously. We put a lot of work into that movie. And that is some of our earliest stuff. And now we do so much more than back then. It's kind of crazy to think about. So I hope that this video has been encouraging to any of you who are feeling frustrated with where you are in the learning process right now, especially if you're beginning and you're just not getting the results that you want. That is where we started, and it's taken many years, 5, 6, 7 years to really break into what we want to do, to have the skills that we want to have. So don't feel frustrated if it's taking a long time. It's a learning process, and be excited when you do get to learn things, because they will make your work so much better and make the adventure of it a lot more fun. That's all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any of your earliest stuff that you want to share, go ahead and post that link in the comments. I would love to see it, and I'm sure everybody else in the homegrown filmmaker community would as well. Speaking of the homegrown filmmaker community, Have you heard about the Facebook group? I've started a Facebook group for all of you homegrown filmmakers. It's where we get together and we talk about the projects that we're working on. We can ask questions with things that we're stuck on, and it's just a great place to get motivation to keep working on your projects. And you can check it out on Facebook, the Homegrown Filmmaker group. As always, please comment, like, subscribe. It really helps get the channel out there to reach more people. I'm Annie Pulling Sweat, and I'm a homegrown filmmaker. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.